Ngayong araw na ito ang simula ng World Interfaith Harmony Week. Magandang pag-usapan ito sapagkat napapanahon din ang sinasabing paglagda ng pamahalaan at ng MILF sa kasunduan. Ito yung ika-4 na annex patungo sa magandang kinabukasan. Pero let me begin by quoting several persons about peace. I remember former Senator Jose Diokno who once said in his book entitled Jobs and Justice, Food and Freedom, ito ang pinakasolusyon tungo sa kapayapaan. An icon from South Africa named Nelson Mandela was quoted as saying, "Let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all." And Mahatma Gandhi was quoted as saying, "Peace has its own reward." Sa daigdig na nagdiriwang ng World Interfaith Harmony Week, ano na ang nangyari? Lahat halos ng relihiyon o pananampalataya ay nagsasabi na mayroong kahalagahan ng kapayapaan. Bakit hindi ka agad makamtan ng kapayapaan sa bansang tulad ng Pilipinas? Hindi ba tayo mabubuhay ng mapayapa? These are the questions we'd like to be answered today. Simulan natin kay Professor Miriam Coronel Ferrer, ang Chief ng Government of the Philippines Negotiating Panel. Kasama rin natin si Professor Pablito Baybado Jr. ng Institute of Religion and Center for Ecclesiastical Studies ng UST. Narito po ang Speaker of the House, si Grace C. ng Focolare Movement. At narito rin po naman, kasama rin natin ang isa pang panauhin. Narito po si Venerable Yu Lin Shi mula po naman sa Fo Guangshan, Philippines. Magandang pag-usapan ito. At mamaya makakarinig tayo kay kay Ginoong Boy Kalugayan. Narito rin at kasama natin ang kinatawan ng mga kapatid nating Muslim. Kasama po natin ngayong umaga ang isa sa mga ginagalang na pinuno ng mga kapatid nating Muslim. Kasama po natin si Imam Alim Nagib Tahir, Chairman ng Insan Islamic Assembly. So let's start. Professor Miriam Coronel Ferrer, how far have we gone in the pursuit of peace? What can we expect?
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, Ginoong Melo Acuña at ang ating mga kasama po ngayon. Assalamualaikum, peace be with you, and to everyone else. Natutuwa kami that we are able to reach out to all the different groups, especially in this forum. Nakikita natin, this is an interreligious forum. Only last Saturday, nando po kami sa Blue Mosque sa Taguig upang makausap naman ang ating mga kapatid na Muslim dito na nanirahan na dito sa Taguig at alam natin they are all concerned about the future of Mindanao kasi doon naman po sila nanggaling at ang kagustuhan nila ay talagang ang kanilang mga kamag-anak ay maging maayos na rin ang kabuhayan doon. At marami sa kanila na nag-OFW pa nga ay sana ay hindi na kailangan lumikas ng bansa para makamit yung kasaganahan at katahimikan sa sarili nilang mga bayan. So ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng peace dito sa ating peace process with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front? Ibig pong sabihin na to ay matitigil na yung putukan, the ceasefire that we have been nurturing throughout the years of very good negotiations, maraming ups and downs. We want this ceasefire to become now permanent. The total silencing of the guns para sa gayon, yung ordinary people, silang una natin pinapahalagan dito. Kasi po, alam natin when it comes to war, pag may gera tayo, ang unang naapektuhan dyan ay yung mga tao sa loob ng mga communities who live with the fighting, who will have to be the one to bear the brunt of the conflict. And for us, that is our goal, that the ordinary Filipino, yung ordinary na Muslim, Kristiyano, lumad dito sa mga iba't ibang lugar nito sa Mindanao ay makadanas ng seguridad, yung complete human security na sinasabi natin without fear of physical violence, without fear of other forms of violence, including poverty, which is of course a major cause of all the difficulties that we have in our society.
Pasensya na po kayo. Medyo third world tayo ngayon. But anyway, Professor, may nagsasabi na bagaman meron tayong nilagdaan, this may not be enough because there will be splinter groups or spoilers, as what President Aquino mentioned several times, out to bring rain to the parade, as they say. Have you identified these groups, and what do you have to say about the BIFF na kamakailan ay nagparamdam?
So to all those who still continue the path of violence, we offer the olive branch to them. It's not too late. There is space for everyone to be part of this process. This is for all. Even the MILF says that this negotiation is not just for the MILF, it's for the Bangsamoro and of course for everybody else who live in these areas. It's for our country. So bukas po ang ating tanggapan para dun sa mga hanggang sa ngayon ay tingin na may makakamit pa sila sa karahasan, pamamagitan ng karahasan. I think that's the cry of our people. Let's stop the violence. And if they hear that, then sana ay mapag-isip-isip sila at makita nila na mas marami silang makukuha dito sa prosesong pangkapayapaan.
Thank you very much. Now, let me ask our good friend from the Muslims, si Imam Alim Nagib Tahir. How do you look at the peace process in the first place? What has Islam got to teach people about peace in the first place?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Una sa lahat, ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa itaas, sa dakilang may kapal, na ika nga masasabi ko, at the end of the day, the Muslims became the center of discussion because the long-lasting conflict in Mindanao ay hindi po yan mabibigyan ng kaukulang hustisya kung hindi po natin yan pag-usapan. Kaya po kami ay laging nagpapasalamat kapag kami ay binigyan ng pagkakataon upang makadalo sa ganitong pag-uusap. Speaking of the recent signed agreement at ang mga iba pang mga plano ng gobyerno para sa kapayapaan ng Muslim Mindanao. First of all, we are expressing our grateful to God, and of course we are thankful to the government of the Philippines that pinagtunan yan po ng pansin ang mga nagaganap sa mga rural area despite of focusing some problem in the urban area. Kung minsan nalilimutan natin yung mga kaguluhan sa mga rural area sapagkat ang lahat ng pag ikaw ay nagbukas ng television, ang unang nakikita mo yung problema ng traffic dito sa mga lansangan ng Metro Manila. Bira lang natin na pag-usapan yung mga nangyayari sa rural area kung saan ang dapat the income of the Philippines, because we are more on agricultural product. So kung kaligtaan natin yung mga rural area, talaga mamumulubi ang Pilipinas. Dahil hindi tayo pwede umasa sa mga industrial countries. Eh kung tayo ay tatayo tayo sa sariling paa, kayang-kaya po natin yan. Hindi na mag-ibang bansa pa yung mga kababayan natin. Kaya po, itong usapang pangkapayapaan, kami po ay umaasa na ang gobyerno ay sincere sa usapang ito. Sapagkat ang nakikita namin parang hindi equal yung pakikitungo ng pamahalaan sa mga Bangsamoro people. Like for example, they are only dealing with the MILF. Kasama kami doon because we are belongs to the Bangsamoro. Pero kung talagang sincere ang gobyerno sa pakikipag-usap sa mga Muslim sa Mindanao, ay dapat sa pangkalahatan, hindi lang yung MILF or particular sa MILF. Mayroon dyan na Bangsamoro Liberation Organization. Ito ay tinatag ni Sultan Harun Rashid Lokman, the former Congressman Lokman. Mayroon dyan na MNLF Reformers Group na pinamumunuan dati ni Dimas Pandato. He is now working with the government. Mayroon dyan na Abu Sayyaf Group. Mayroon din dyan na mga iba't ibang Bangsamoro Group somewhere in Sulu Archipelago. Dapat ito ay pinulong ng ating pamahalaan at sila ay magkaisa o sabay-sabay ito kinausap ng pamahalaan para sa kapayapaan ng ating bansa. Sapagkat kung ang kinausap lang is one group at dinisregard yung ibang grupo, kaya po ang nangyari, katulad nung nasaksiyan natin sa mga nakarang araw, kung saan ang putukan muli na nangyari sa Mindanao, sapagkat hindi po nabigyan ng kaukulang pansin ang mga iba pang grupo. So, we are here and kami po ay handa na makipagtulungan sa pamahalaan upang ito ay matapos ang napakatagal na conflict na nagaganap sa Kamindanawan. Thank you.
Pasensya na po kayo. Sorry for the inconvenience, no? But if we are to look into the timeline, it all started in March 18, 1968. Nagkaroon ng Jabida Massacre and we were still in the elementary grades at the time. Matagal na yun. Hanggang sa nagkaroon ng lagdaan nakalipas na Enero. Pero matanong ko si Professor, yung concern ni Imam, bakit nandun lang sa MNLF at nasa MI, in the first place, ano ba ang mandate talaga ng gobyerno? Sino ba dapat ang kausapin?
Alam niyo po, alam naman natin na ganyan ang ating kalagayan, iba-ibang grupo at saka iba't ibang interes ang sinisikap natin pagsamahin ngayon dito sa proseso natin. Siguro po, gobyerno na yung pinakamasaya kung talagang mismo ang ating mga kapatid dito sa Bangsamoro o sa Mindanao, yung ating mga kapatid na Muslim, sila mismo ay papayag na sama-samang umupo sa isang lamesa at pag-usapan natin to. Pero meron din po kasi naman hidwaan sa pagitan nila na hindi nagiging madali na pagsamahin natin sila sa isang lamesa. Kung kaya't hindi naman ibig sabihin na hindi na natin tayo makikipag-ugnayan sa kanila. So halimbawa po sa MNLF, meron pa tayong review process dyan. Sa ibang grupo, alam naman natin ang kasaysayan ng BIFF, kaya sila tumiwalag dahil ang tingin nila noon ay wala nang makakamit dito sa peace negotiation na to. Pero ang MILF ay nagtiyaga, nakiusap at nagbigay tiwala sa ating pamahalaan na meron mangyayari dito sa process, kung kaya't ngayon yung mga dating hindi naniniwala tulad po ng sumapi sa BIFF, sana naman po ay makita nila na may pag-asa talaga tayong makakamit dito at sumama na sa atin muli. Itigil na po yung pakikipaglaban.
Thank you very much. By the way, we also extended the invitation to the MILF, but our good friend Muhajir Iqbal was on his way to Cotabato yesterday. Kaya hindi na siya nakadalo. Actually, Saturday pa siya bumalik eh. Pero we've been exchanging text messages how he wished he would have joined us today. Pero, tunghayan natin, si Professor Baybado, In your studies sa Institute of Religion and Center for Ecclesiastical Studies, what have you found? Can there be a common denominator? Can there be peace and harmony in a country like the Philippines where so many faiths exist?
Magandang umaga po, Sir Melo. Magandang umaga din po kay Ma'am Ferrer. Dapat pong magdiwang ang buong Pilipinas na nagkaroon na ng lagda o paglagda, nagkaroon na ng agreement ang ating gobyerno at ang More Islamic Liberation Front. Patungkol doon sa katanungan ng mga iba pang grupo, I think the challenge ay yung pagiging bukas ng lahat ng grupo para tuloy-tuloy ang pag-uusap. Sa tanong din na mayroon bang common ground on how we can proceed on this, siguro magandang balikan kaninang umaga yung pangyayari kung saan ang ating butihing kardinal, si Cardinal Tagle, ay nagkaroon ng pagpupulong sa mga interfaith communities at ito ping sinasabi niya. Siya po ay galing sa Davos Economic Forum at binabanggit doon, it was highlighted in that international conference that today, the resources of the faith and religion in fostering peace and equality in the world is very, very important. At ito po yung pinananawagan din natin ngayong linggong ito, kung saan we are celebrating the World Interfaith Harmony. At ito rin yung challenge natin sa mga kasama natin, kay Ma'am Ferrer, kay Imam, sa ating lahat, paano po natin gagamitin or i-utilize yung ating pananampalataya bilang pamamaraan para tawirin natin itong sinasabi nating pangkapayapaan. Amin pong pinapalagay na hanggat until the root of our humanity, which is religion, is being taken as the way, hindi po magkakaroon ng permanenteng tigil putukan, hindi po tayo magkakaroon ng tunay na kapayapaan. Kaya nga, sang-ayon na rin doon sa statement na nilabas ng World Interfaith Harmony Week, ay sana, at ito rin ang binabanggit ni Cardinal kanina, alam po natin na kung minsan may kalabisan ang relisyon, at itong tinatawag natin na religious fanaticism. Pero may kalabisan din kung minsan yung rason o yung iba't ibang aspeto. Sa makatwid, sama-sama po nating hanapin yung mga nasa relihiyon, nasa ibang sektor, sama-sama nating samahin, pagsamahin natin ang ating mga kakayahan at na umuusbong sa inspirasyon ng ating pananampalataya para hanapin talaga kung paano natin patigilin to. Ang binabanggit lang po namin ay hindi lamang husagot ang politika, ang ekonomiya, but it is high time as religious people that we have to look into the resources of the faith to be able to deepen our quest for lasting peace.
So, meron bang clear-cut formula sa pag-aaral ninyo to achieve peace by way of faith?
Pag ang pinag-uusapan po ay by way of faith, ang una po nating intindihin dyan ay hindi ho iisa ang pananampalataya. Multi-religious cooperation po tinatawag dyan. Dati-rati po, ang pinanggagalingan ay naghahanap ka ng common. Pwede rin ba na manggaling ka sa differences? Kung ang tanong po ay mayroon bang formula, a formula cannot come from the Catholic side, a formula cannot come from the Islamic side, but it should come as a consensus between and among religions. And you don't say that on paper, but it comes as part of a historical experience. Sa makatwid, katulad nung pag-uusap na nagaganap between our government and the MILF, ay sabi nga nung aking pumanaw na profesor, si Father Kahilig, ihanap mo lang yan, maging bukas ka lang, ihanap mo lang yan, mapupuntahan mo rin. Sa makatwid, ang sagot po ay hindi nanggagaling sa una. Ito po ay isang proseso ng pagiging bukas, proseso ng pagiging sincero, proseso na idinidikta ng aking pananampalataya na makiisa at mahalin pati ang aking kalaban, kaaway, at sa prosesong yon, yun po ang maghahatid sa atin kung ano yung kahihinatnan nito. And in the words of Cardinal, the fruit of peace is not our job. It is the gift of God to us. Our only job is to make it sure that we allow ourselves as His instrument along the process po.
Very well. Now let me ask Grace. Focolare played an important role immediately after the Second World War. Can you tell us very briefly on what Focolare is all about?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Melo, and good morning to each one of you here in the panel. Well, just like Mr. Melo said, Focolare movement started in the days of the World War. In the 1943, it was founded by an Italian. Her name was Chiara Lubick. And during the war, she realized that everything passes, but only God remains. Just like what happened in the Yolanda. Everything passes. Wala nawala ng bahay, maraming nawala ng mga mahal sa buhay. Pero talagang ang Diyos ang nandyan sa atin palagi. And in that situation in the World War, she really felt that God loves us immensely. And this great love of God for us is so strong that she felt that she had to bring it to each of our brothers, to each of our neighbor. And this is what compelled her and her companions at that time to leave that word in the gospel, may they all be one. And so this is their founding, this is now the founding, should I say, practice of the Focolare movement. So in order for us to have unity with our brother, irregardless of faith, irregardless of social status, irregardless of course, our religious practices. And so we can have unity with our brothers.
Okay, we're joined today by the Venerable Yulin Shi, representing the Fo Guangshan Philippines. Tell us more about your group and what you've been doing in the Philippines for some time.
Maayong buntag, magandang umaga, right? Yes, I based in Cebu, right? Fogonsan Philippines has been in the Philippines for almost 25 years, and Fogonsan Buddhist order. In the world, we have about 300 temples. In the Philippines, we have 4 temples. Our founder is Venerable Master Hsing Yun, and we do all these things to spread the love and peace to the world based on 4 objectives. First, to propagate Dharma, a Buddha teaching, through culture. Second, to foster talents through education. Third, to benefit society through charity activities. And fourth, to purify people's hearts and mind through cultivation. True cultivation is like this religions rituals or some activities like meditation. So far we based on these 4 objectives like culture, education, charity, and this purify people's minds. So in different based on these 4 objectives, we have done many activities. Like lately, the Yolanda, we have once Venerable Master Hsing Yun know that we Philippines have this disaster, he immediately called the Philippines, the abbess, Venerable Miao Ching, to call us up and start to plan up what can we do for the Philippines. We already went to Okmok, Eastern Samar, Malian, Bogo, and few places, Tacloban, to have good relief. And not only that, we also visited schools to share and give hope to the students. When the students saw us, their eyes is big, like they saw the hope. They have no more textbook and no more, uniform. They just barefoot and wear a short to the school. I feel so heart pain when I saw that. But when we spread about, we just give them not only goods, but we also share them 3 acts of goodness, which is body do good deeds, mouth speak good words, and mind think good thoughts. Immediately we tell them that you are still the lucky one because you are still alive. So since we are still here, we have to spread the love and what we have now, appreciate, and to continue your study, and you can do more for your future and to the society.
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. Professor Miriam, let me just ask you this. May concern yung ating kasamang imam. Pero ano pang nakikita niyong obstacle towards attaining peace aside from the so-called spoilers? What problems have we ahead of us? Magandang bantayan ng mga kapatid natin sa media yan.
Sangayon po ako dun sa binanggit ng ating professor na hindi lang naman talaga politika o ekonomiya itong ating sinisikap na hanapan ng magandang kalutasan. Bagamat marami talagang usapin patungkol sa politika, alam niyo naman po, iba-iba tayong grupo, iba-ibang tribo din ang bumubuo sa ating Mindanao, kung kaya't marami pong usapin dito na dapat ay ma-resolve natin in terms of democratic principles, representation at iba pa. Gayon din sa ekonomiya, kakabanggit lang sa atin kung gaano pa daming kailangan natin habulin para ibigay yung basic services sa ating mga kabataan. Pero mahalagang bagay din po itong talagang pagkakamit ng isang understanding, yung tolerance sa isa't isa, pag-intindi sa isa't isa, tiyak na piliin natin yung isang daan na hindi na natin kailangan gamitin yung violence na magiging pangunahing proseso para makamit ang kagustuhan ng bawat isa. Yung dialogue po, napakahalaga yan. So I think, I hope that this will really ripple down to the communities. We know that part of the sources of violence in Mindanao ay yung tinatawag nating family feuds. Yung rito, it's a kind of justice na sinisikap, nawawalan na yung ating rule of law kasi ang nangyari, ang pagsikap para makamit ang justice ay kanya-kanyang paraan. So we hope that with all the reforms that we are doing, humabol din sana yung tinasawag nating culture of peace, which is really the main message of all religions. All religions preach peace. Kasi ano po bang silbi ng relihiyon sa ating buhay kung hindi makahanap ng kasagutan, makahanap ng ganong klaseng kapayapaan sa sarili at sa kasalipunan. Kung kaya't palagay ko naman po, with that simple message ay sana ay everybody gets together, we work together for this project, a national project, a worldwide project to be able to really stop the wars and build peace in our hearts and in our communities.
Before I open the floor to our friends from the media, if you're successful with the MILF, do you have the same optimism na magkakaroon ng breakthrough yung pakikipag-usap ng kabilang panel sa NDF?
Lahat po ng peace advocates ay optimists. Because if they are pessimists, we will just sit down, go back to our homes, do nothing. So I think ganun po yung ating message. We will never give up na lahat ng mga dapat pa sanang pagkasunduin na dati-dati magkalaban, magkaaway, ay makahanapan din ng tamang panahon, tamang proseso, so that we will be able to resolve our conflicts peacefully.
May I call on Boy Kalugayan to be with us, Kalikugan. I'd like to ask Boy of his experience sa Silsila Dialogue Movement. Can you share with us? Huh? Silsila, okay. Mali yung accent on the first syllable. So, ano po yung karanasan ninyo sa Silsila Dialogue Movement? How far have you gone to foster peace before I open the floor to the media?
I've been working, good morning to each and everyone. I've been working Silsila for already 8 years. And my first exposure was with the Muslim community. I was immersed in an island. Being a teacher, I'm teaching in an island which is predominantly occupied by Muslim residents. And my first really fear was that, can I go along with them? Because I have to do a lot of adjustments because, you know, being a Christian, although I belong to a community where it's half Muslim, half Christian, but then I am much closer to the Christian. When I was assigned in that island, there was really fear. But I said I have to bring the mission of Silsila Dialogue Movement, the mission of establishing friendship regardless of whoever or whatever you are. So in my experience there, I started to understand Muslims a lot, because there are Muslims, they are aloof with the Christians. So I started to build relationship. It took time for me. It took time for me to establish such relationship. Now there are times that I'm being threatened to be kidnapped. There are times that I'm being unwanted when you ask for something. As if you are not. They don't mind you. But still, my mission as a staff of Silsila is padayon, which means move on. So I have to move on, and the more that they ignore me, the more that I was challenged to be closer with the Muslims, because I know they're people, they're a creation of God. So I have to be with them. And being a staff and bringing the mission and vision of Silsila, I was able to establish good relationship with them. But the relationship was so strong, and it is in my heart. So I said, how Muslims are friendly people. That's how I conclude that if you are already with them, you know them, and you know what you don't do, what they don't like. So the respect is there, and there are times that I was threatened. There was somebody was looking for me, and then I was very touched that I was just at the side of that Muslim mother, and then there was they do not know the person. They asked, "Where is your principal?" And then the children, the parent looked at me and said, "He's not around. He's in Zamboanga City." So that kind of concern I was touched. Na they gave their protection to me. So I embraced that mother and the child. I said, "Thank you very much." And from that time on, whenever somebody will ask, if they do know the person, "Saan ang principal nyo?" "Nandun sa Zamboanga, umuwi." "Kailan ang balik niya? Anong oras? Anong araw?" "Hindi po namin alam. Pero nandyan lang ako sa tabi nila." And very touching yung ganong klaseng manifestation ng mga Muslims. I was touched. Kaya when I was assigned in Manila, all of them cried because they don't want me to leave. That's me.
Thank you very much. Napakagandang experience. We'll open the floor to the media. Please identify yourself and go ahead with the question. Andito po yung mikropono. Pagtsagaan na po muna natin. Pakisuyo lang. Ito po yung mikropono. Pakilapit lang. Yan. All right.
Ma'am, paano po naka-apekto yung conflict sa Maguindanao led by BIFF doon po sa kakatapos lamang na Bangsamoro Agreement, if naka-apekto man?
Well, maganda talaga kung wala sanang ganyang problema, pero isa po yung problema at sinikap natin ayusin. ang ating naging nakita naman natin tinapos na po itong specific operations na to that has been in the news over this week. We have taken all the necessary precautions, lalo na for the civilian community. But it is something that we had to be done in order to disrupt the capability of a group that has been harassing our soldiers and our communities. So, but I think as of now, we have ended the operations. Ando na po ang ating, we hope that it will give the communities a chance to go back, to resume their livelihood at saka without the threat of these different armed groups who are still in active hostility against our armed forces.
Ma'am, I understand, kailangan pa naman pong i-finalize at saka po gagawa pa ng basic law. Ano po? Pero as early as now, nakikita na po ba natin yung possible na maging kumbaga ikurot nito? Lalo na po, hindi lang po PIFF yung hindi pa nakakausap, there's still MNLF.
Alam naman natin yan kung kaya't some of the arrangements that we are making during this transition leading to the Bangsamoro political entity include good cooperation on the ground between the government and the MILF in order to prevent yung mga outbreaks of hostility, to be able to also minimize criminality. And we will have a very good program, national program that will address the problem of private armed groups in these areas. Kasi as we move on, we encourage everybody to participate in the electoral process. We do not want to give any disadvantage to any one group with armed men who will use this in their favor during the elections. And that's true for the MILF, and that is why they are also going to undergo a process of decommissioning. That's our message also to our traditional politicians and all the other groups that continue to have an arsenal of armed men and weapons that they can use unfairly against other groups in what should otherwise be very free and fair democratic elections.
Does it mean to say, Professor, doon po sa binanggit niyo, Professor, does it mean to say that Secretary Mar Rojas of the DILG will have to double time because he's got to deal with politicians who may have private armies, who should be controlled by the police, which is under the ambit of the DILG again?
Well, it should not only be Secretary Mar Rojas, although definitely he is giving us our full support, including the DILG. We'll be putting up a national task force that will address private armed groups, and that will involve all the concerned agencies, including the agencies in the socio-economic cluster, because as we know, karamihan naman ang nare-recruit sa armadong grupo ay yung mga naghahanap talaga ng trabaho. So kung makahanap tayo ng ibang options para sa kanila, baka hindi na sila kailangan nasa payroll pa ng iba't ibang politiko at ang ginagawa nilang mga dirty jobs para dito.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Ako si Ernie Reyes, Traction.com ng TV5. Pareho na lang. At tanong ko lang po, gagawa po ng Transition Commission.
Meron na.
Meron na. Yung roadmap ng Bangsamoro Basic Law is number 7 na yung huling comprehensive whatever agreement na pipirmahan nyo. Ang tanong ko po, na-resolve ba na ba yung constitutional issue dun sa gagawing Bangsamoro Basic Law?
Napakalinaw po ng instruction ng ang presidente sa atin nung nakipag-negotiate tayo sa MILF. Everything within the Constitution, but within its flexibilities. Our Constitution has a lot of space, and we looked for these spaces in order to realize the main aspirations for the right to self-determination, for good governance, and a good infrastructure that will bring about peace and development. So, ang tanong po natin doon sa mga nagsasabi na hindi yan constitutional, ang request natin sa kanila, alin po ba yung bahagi ng mga agreements, ng mga annexes, ang hindi constitutional. Parang ngayon, para umusad naman yung ating diskusyon, madali pong husgahan na hindi yan constitutional, na hindi naman tinutukoy kung ano bang bahagi dyan ang tinuturing nilang hindi constitutional. So, tuloy po natin pakikipag-usap sa kanila at pagpapaliwanag doon sa mga specific provisions na sa tingin nila ay lumalabag sa ating konstitusyon.
How about dun sa wealth sharing na nakapetition ngayon sa Supreme Court?
Hindi po yata naman nakapetition sa Supreme Court yung wealth sharing. Alam natin may nagsamba ng ilang mga petition kaugnay ng framework agreement. At ang ilang mga issues nila dyan ay may kinalaman dun sa isang bagong proseso, yung bakit Malaysia ang nagpa-facilitate, tanong po nila yan, hindi naman po yata constitutional issue yan, kung ilang pang mga specifics at hindi pa naman to binibigyan na desisyon ng ating Supreme Court. Sa wealth sharing po, ang konstitusyon nga ang nagsasabi na dapat ang kayamanan ng bansa ay ma-enjoy ng lahat. So binibigyan buhay po natin yung lahat ng social justice principles, yung principles tungkol sa autonomy, devolution, lahat po yan nakasaad sa ating konstitusyon. Ito pong ating peace agreement, yan po ay nagbibigay panibagong sigla at buhay sa lahat po ng minandato ng ating konstitusyon nung rinatify natin to noong 1987.
Follow up dun sa wealth sharing, sabing gano'n ng Constitution, yung equal distribution of wealth should be managed by the state, not by certain group. How can you resolve that?
Hindi po ba ang Bangsamoro ay kabahagi ng state? Yun po ang layunin ng ating negosasyon, na hindi sila maging ibang bansa, hindi sila humiwalay sa ating bayang Pilipinas. Yan po ay mga authorities that are vested in the central government that can be delegated to local governments, to regional governments like the Bangsamoro. Kaya hindi naman po sila hiwalay na bansa eh. Diba? So parehong state po ang pinag-uusapan natin at walang iba kung hindi yung Philippine state.
Last one. Sige. Yung sa decommissioning of arms, ang sabi ni Senator Enrile, magkakaroon doon ng national security concern. How sure is the GPH na ibabalik talaga yung armas? I-relay down nila yung armas. Alam natin, excuse me, ma'am, ang kultura ng ating mga kapatid na Muslim, kunin mo na yung asawa ko, huwag na armas ko. Parang gano'n.
Alam niyo, hindi naman yata masasabi yan na mga Muslim dyan. Sa ibang lugar sa Pilipinas, halimbawa sa Abra, mahigpit din po ang kapit sa mga baril dyan. At ang eleksyon din po dyan ay napakagulo din. Ang inaayos natin ay yung ating electoral system at ang ating law enforcement capacities para sa gayon ay maiwasan talaga yung pagbabiolate ng ating mga batas. Ang decommissioning ganito po ang mangyayari, no? Magtatayo tayo ng isang independent decommissioning body na ang kasapi dyan ay mga 7 experts, local and international experts. Sila yung mangangasiwa ng decommissioning process. So ang MILF ay magbibigay ng inventaryo ng kanilang combatants at saka ng kanilang baril. At itong independent decommissioning body, ang unang-una niyang gagawin ay magkaroon ng verification process. Tapos pag na-verify na yan, doon na mag-uumpisa yung ating process ng anong mangyayari, gradual and phase process kung saan unti-unti habang iniimplementa natin ang ating agreements ay iti-turn in yung mga heavy weapons ng MILF dito sa independent decommissioning body. Samantala, doon naman po sa small arms, kung anong pwedeng i-register bilang pag-aari ng isang individual, yan naman po ay karapatan na ibinibigay natin sa lahat ng Pilipino. Meron tayong gun laws dyan, at dito sa gun law natin, hindi lahat ng baril ay pwedeng ma-register sa isang individual. So yung pwede, at kung may gusto, dadaan po sa ganun klaseng proseso na i-register nila yung dati-rating illegal, unregistered weapons, para maging registered weapons at mailalagay yan sa ating central database. So may monitoring system tayong pwedeng i-put in place. Pero doon sa mga RPG, yung mga high-powered firearms, mga malalaking machine guns, hindi naman po pwede sa batas natin na pag-aari yan ng isang individual o isang organisasyon na hindi naman kabahagi ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. So, ganun po.
Sa bagong batas. Opo.
Sa bagong batas, small arms, in every individual. Ako, ikaw.
Pero hindi pwedeng ilabas yan. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta ilabas ng bahay. Yan dapat ay nakatago sa bahay. Yun. May mga protocols dyan na kailangan sundin. At pag ikaw ay nahulian yan, maski na rehistrado yan, pero hindi, wala kang permit to carry, ay hindi, ay ano ka pa rin, yung kung ano man yung tinatag ng batas na magiging kaparusahan, ay mangyayari pa din.
One last, when the Bangsamoro Basic Law is passed by Congress, how are we going to abrogate the 1996 Emerald Accord na recognized din ng international community?
Wala po tayong abrogations na ginagawa. In fact, yung agreement na yan, in-implement na natin yan eh. Kalakhan yan. Nangyari na yung SPCPD, Southern Philippines Council and Peace and Development.
Naging governor po ng ARM, si Ginoong Misuari, si Ginoong Paruk Hussein. So dumaan na po yan sa proseso. Naglagay na tayo ng socio-economic programs doon sa mga communities ng MNLF at pinagpapatuloy pa din natin yan, yung socio-economic programs natin para sa kanila, kasama na yung iba pa. So tuloy-tuloy po yan. Ang nag-abrogate po dito, yung gumagamit ulit ng karahasan. Yung nagde-declare ng independence, samantalang malinaw naman na ang usapan dito ay autonomous government. Yung pong nag-aatake, samantalang dapat ay may ceasefire na. Tapos na po yung labanan sa pagitan ng MNLF at saka ng government.
Sabi kasi sa Senate, pagka na isabatas yung Bangsamoro Basic Law, it replaces ARM. So, how can you reconcile your...
Mismo ng MNLF po, may mga angal po sila sa ARM eh. Ang tingin nila, hindi na isalamin nung Republic Act 9054, lahat ng
kagustuhan nila. Kung kaya't doon sa ating pakikipag-usap sa kanila sa review process, meron tayong mahabang matrix. Ano pa yung gusto nilang baguhin sa kasulukuyang kaayusan sa ARM. At ngayon po, magsasagawa tayo ng bagong batas, this is the way, this is the chance for all those elements that they feel were not incorporated to be incorporated. So yung pong Bangsamoro na pangalan, hindi po ba MNLF ang unang nagbigay ng pangalan na yun? Kanila rin po yun, sa kanila rin po nanggaling. Kaya nga sinasabi ng MILF, wala kaming franchise dyan, para sa amin lahat yan. So ito na po yung chance. So panawagan po, sana magsama-sama ang ating mga kapatid, MNLF, MILF, magtulungan po sila. Hindi po mapipilit yan ng gobyerno. Ang gobyerno po pwede lamang magbigay ng suporta, magbigay ng resources para sila ay mag-usap-usap, umupo sa isang lamesa, sila-sila, at magkasundo na sa prosesong gagawin para dito sa pagsasabuhay sa Bangsamoro Basic Law.
Yung MNLF 1990s Accord, hindi babaliwala. Yung itutuloy yun ito ng Bangsamoro Basic Law.
Wala po tayong action that recedes that commitment of the government when it signed under former President Fidel V. Ramos sa 1996 Final Peace Agreement. Yung iba pong grupo sa loob ng MNLF ang may contrary actions dito sa spirit po nitong agreement na to.
Professor, samantala naghintay tayo ng mga kapatid natin sa media to ask more questions. Some time ago, before the election of Paruk Hussein as governor, I was with a group of then Angelo Reyes, Secretary Reyes, and we visited Awang, 6th Division. And he talked to the mayors and the governor of Maguindanao, ready na ba tayo sa eleksyon? And they were in unison saying, ready na tayo sa eleksyon. Hindi ba natin ipopostpone? Sabi ni General Reyes. Sabi ng mga naron, pag pinospone mo yan, maglalabas ka ulit ng PIRA. Lumabas na yung PIRA. Pag hindi nyo tinuloy, maglalabas kayo ulit dahil kailangan. So ang tanong ngayon ni Angelo, may he rest in peace, mananalo ba si Paruk as governor? Oo, mananalo yan, may piray. Kahit hindi namin kilala yan, mananalo yan. Given such a historical or contemporary account of history in Maguindanao, what can we expect from this agreement?
Well, kung election po ang pinag-uusapan, that is why we also have a national electoral reform program. And very specific for these areas in the ARM, if you remember, bago mag-2013 election, na-purge po yung voters list niyan. Ang dami pong nawala sa listahan na dati-rati ay bloated yung kanyang voters registration. These are steps that we are undertaking para sa gayon maayos talaga yung maging tunay na democratic yung processes natin dito. But that's only one thing. Marami po talagang gagawin dito. It's a comprehensive reform program. And that is why we're asking everybody to please help us. Because hindi namin to kaya na kami lang. Kailangan po lahat, ang civil society organizations, yung pong mga organisasyon na kasama natin dito, please tulungan niyo po kami dahil napakadami pong kailangan natin gawin. It's a total package and everything will have to complement each other.
Babalikan ko naman si Imam. Sa palagay po ba ninyo, we will get the necessary support from the other Muslim groups? I'm not saying there will be spoilers, pero mula sa ground, sa inyong pagsusuri, masusuportahan kaya yung nais ni Professor Ferrer?
Well, ang nakikita namin ngayon ay para bagang hindi kami naniniwala sa sincerity ng government to deal with the Bangsamoro. Sapagkat when you are dealing in a particular group and disregarding the rest of the group, it indicated that there is something, yes, parang yun ang nakikita namin. Kaya po, this will lead to more trouble in Mindanao kung hindi ito mabibigyan ng kaukulang pansin.
Pero why is it that the Muslims cannot speak as one?
Siguro dahil sa lack of coordination. And when you are talking to a certain group, and like what I mentioned earlier, and you are disregarding others, like for example, the situation in Mindanao, kung ito ay pagtuunan natin ng pansin, is very complicated nowadays. Kumbaga sa sakit ay cancer na. Sapagkat ang pwede lang magiging leader sa Mindanao yung may mga pera na. Wala na doon yung tinatawag na galang ng tao. Kung may pera ka, ikaw ay magiging mayor. May magiging barangay chairman. Kung wala kang pera, tumahimik ka na lang.
Bakit laging gano'n na nangyayari sa Mindanao?
Because of the long-lasting conflict in Mindanao, ang nangyari, the result, more people became mahirap. Kaya ang nangyari sa Mindanao ngayon, kapit patalim na. Makikita mo, even the split groups. There are so many split groups from the MNLF and the MILF. They are no longer a religious group. They just became a partisan group. They are kidnappers, they are hold-uppers, bandits, terrorism. Ito ang nangyayari dyan. They do not have any group na kilala ng They have their own group, which is ito ay kumakalat sa iba't ibang lugar sa Mindanao. Whether it be in Lanao or in Maguindanao or in Sulu or Tawi-Tawi.
Ganun ba kalala yung difference ng mga tribo sa Mindanao that they cannot agree to come up with one voice and one negotiating panel?
As I said, this is the result of the long-lasting conflict. Dati-rati hindi naman ganito eh. Pero, kung mayroong mga alternatives ng government or some other government plan to solve the problem in Mindanao, ay katulad po yan ng punong kahoy. Kung ang bibigyan mo ng kaukulang pansin ay yung mga sanga ng kahoy, ay hindi po yan mabibigyan ng solusyon. Pero kung ang bigyan mo ng pansin niya yung pinaka-ugat o pinaka-ugat ng problema, siguro madali lang bigyan niya ng solusyon.
Okay. Professor Miriam, there was a statement from Oliver Matlos, also known as Ka-Oris, na kung hindi raw po malulutas yung ugat ng problema tulad ng feudalismo, wala rin pagbabago kahit maglagdaan ng kapayapaan. How do you look at it?
Wala naman ho yatang iisang ugat, maski puno ay marami pong ugat. At nagsasanga-sanga po rin yung mga ugat nila. Kung kaya't wala pong iisang solusyon dito. Marami pong solusyon ang kailangan. At kung kaya't comprehensive approach naman ang ginagawa natin, naintindihan natin kung may pagdududa yung iba nating kapatid Muslim sa sinseridad ng ating pamahalaan. Kasi talagang napakahaba na nga nitong conflict na to, marami nang natanim, nasama ng loob, marami ng mga sugat. Pero ito po, panahon po ba na, ngayon po ba sa likod pa rin tayo titingin o sa harap na? Panahon na rin naman siguro na igpawan natin yung dating mga sugat at nang hindi naman ibig sabihin kalimutan natin ito. Katunayan, dito sa ating normalization annex, magkakaroon po tayo ng programa na tinatawag natin reconciliation. Marami po tayong pwedeng isagawa para doon sa Transitional Justice and Reconciliation Programs na isa nakabahagi ng pagno-normalize ng relasyon natin sa isa't isa at saka sa kabuhayan ng mga tao. Pag-usapan po natin, ano ba yung kailangan para mahilom yung ganyang mga pagdududa, yung ganyang sama ng loob. Alam natin, dumaan tayo sa martial law, nagkahati-hati tayo. Maraming tao na naghirap at naging biktima, naging victims of human rights na hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa na-address o nabibigyan ng kaungkulan reparations. We're there, we're ready to move forward. Pero kung babalik-balik tayo lagi doon sa nakaraan, baka hilain tayo ng nakaraan, hindi na tayo makausad for the future.
Please.
Yes, Ramiro from Uni Harmony Partners as well as Catholic Media Network. Ang tanong ko lang, Professor Miriam, sa tingin ninyo itong comprehensive program ng government for peace and reconciliation, will it happen during the time of Pinoy or even beyond Pinoy's term? Kasi minsan may mga fears ang tao, one of which would be, ayan, ibang pare, ibang hari, and then, iba ugali.
This will take at least another generation to be able.
Minimum 25 years.
Yes. Kaya kung ano po yung foundation na linilay down natin ngayon until 2016, we want that to be a strong foundation. But what happens next is the people's choice. So, who will be the next hari o pari? Who will be the next president? Tayo rin naman po ang boboto dun eh. So, tiyakin po natin na malinaw yung posisyon ng ating mamamayan na yung susunod na presidente dapat kung ano yung magaganda dito na inaumpisahan natin, dapat yan ay mapagpatuloy. Piliin po natin kung sino yung magiging presidente natin sa 2016.
Well, imagine ko, Tess, ano itsura natin 25 years from now? Ano itsura natin lahat, no? But anyway, mula sa Popular, what can the group offer? Words of consolation man lang to come up with peace.
Okay. Siguro I would go back to that time. I remember once Kiara Lubick, our founder, was invited to speak at the United Nations. So doon, sinabi niya na napaka-importante ng peace talaga, no? To have a unity amongst us. And how do we do this? It was by loving our neighbor. And who is our neighbor? Our neighbor is always the next one beside us. Ngayon si Imam katabi ko at nandito si Boy. So dito ko mapapractice yung aking pagmamahal sa aking neighbor. At ito ang napakagandang paraan para magkaroon tayo ng kapayapaan at pagkakaisa. Sa Focolare movement, which is now present in 182 countries, we constantly have dialogues now is with the 350 churches and faiths all over the world, no? And this dialogue is not only through speaking, it's not only through talking, but we also do it by by actions, no? As we try to also live the gospel. Siyempre, hindi madali, pero we can do it very concretely. Allow me to share that last night and then the other night, we just had the Generoso, which is an international performing arts group, and we had a concert for solidarity. This is shared, of course, with other religions, and it was very beautiful to see in the concert arena that there are Islams, you know, they have the veils, and then of course from other religions and other churches who were there to witness the concert. It was very beautiful to see everyone enjoying and really trying to love one another. And this concert, again, let me take this opportunity, will be brought also to Masbate, to Cebu, to Davao, and then also to Palawan this month of February, which is very good, no? It coincides with our Uni Harmony Week this week. But so it is very, for us, it's not, I should say, it's not very easy to love our neighbor, but this is how we live for. We live for one another. Even if it calls for dying to ourselves, but of course, we exist also for one another. We cannot have unity na ako lang. Unity has to be shared with one, because this is how it is. No, it is founded on mutual love also.
Thank you. May we have your thoughts, Venerable Yulin Shi, about peace and faith?
Peace and faith, as what Venerable Master Shin always taught us, if you want to have a world peace, first you have to be compassionate. As what all the religions say, love. So in Buddhism we say compassion. But of course for compassion we do it more than love, because we have to come with wisdom. And also respect and equanimity. For this recently, last 2 years, we have this love and peace prayer ceremony in Buddha Memorial Center in Taiwan. We managed to gather about 11 religious to work together for the prayers, and there is more than 10,000 people gather for this ceremony. Here the intention is to, they say, we shall love our earth as one, guard our homeland together, and then all agree we do good deeds, say good words, think good thoughts. Why is this so important? No? Because everyone loves good things. Everyone loves to hear about praises. You are beautiful, you are so intelligent. All is good. And then, of course, the good thought, the good intention we have, we can actually spread and influence many people for this. And in terms of this also, we have our faith, we spread humanistic Buddhism through many sources. For example, we have this media. In Chinese, we call it 人间福报. In English is Marriage Times. For this, we only publish positive news or happy things to share with others. Because Venerable Master Shin have this idea. He said, people will read the newspaper every morning, especially during breakfast. If they have this bad news, during the dining time, the heart is different. But if we can share something, the news that something is happiness, peace, so they feel like they have a hope on the day, the whole day. So this newspaper, we have been published more than 10 years, and started from Taiwan, and we also brought it to the world. And this paper, of course, we have to import from Taiwan, and the quality also different. And then beside from that, we also have, through internet, we have Live News Agency. It's also spread about positive news over the world. How we do it, as I mentioned just now, we have 300 temples in the world. So we managed to gather the news from each temples and each volunteer from other countries. And then Taiwan, we send to Taiwan the news, they compose it, and then they publish it to share with the world also. And then except for that, we have TV station. We call it BLTV, Beautiful Life Television. If you heard about Beautiful Life, wow, you want to turn on the TV already because it is beautiful. And of course, all about positive things, and not only for religions, something like healthy food, fashion, healthy living, all kind of messages that we try to spread. Because to the world peace, we have to respect each other. We will not emphasize, okay, Buddhism have to do this. No, we respect. We have Islam, friends, and Fokoralia, and Catholic, and this one, others, Taoism, we also can work together. Yeah.
Very well. Pero sa sinabi ng ating kasama, mukhang hindi kami magko-qualify ni Joseph Parapina. Beautiful television daw eh. Pang radyo lang kami. But thank you very much for your thoughts. Now, do we have more questions from the floor? Yes, please. Please identify yourself and the entity you represent. UNT. Yes, please. Ito na mikropono ka pa din. Sige, hawakan mo muna.
Ano pong magiging pagkakaiba ng batas na yun, Adelma? Tsaka yung pagkakatulad kung meron?
Pakiulit.
Ano pong magiging pagkakatulad at pagkakaiba ng Bangsamoro Basic Law sa Organic Act ng ARMM? Tsaka kung anong stage na po ba, ilalapi po ba ito ng peace panel sa Congress tsaka sa...
So, magandang tanong yun kasi ano bang magiging pagkakaiba, ano yung linagay natin sa ating agreements at ano yung inaasahan natin mangyayari. Number one, ibang malaking pagkakaiba sa form of government dito sa Bangsamoro. Sinasabi natin mas ministerial form or parang parliamentary system. Kung ngayon ang tao, binoboto nila diretso yung kanilang governor at saka vice governor, tapos may regional legislative assembly, dito sa Bangsamoro, ang iboboto nila ay yung mga uupo sa assembly. At mas malaki tong assembly na to. Ibig sabihin, magkakaroon ng pagkakataon na yung iba't ibang sektor ay makaupo at maging represented more than at least 50 ang nakalagay sa ating annex. Ang RLA ngayon ay 25. At hindi lamang district representation. Kasi yung district representation, nakakapture na yan ng mga traditional politicians, di ba? So meron tayong party list, meron din tayong reserve seats para yung iba't ibang sektor, lalo na yung maliliit na grupo, ay siguradong meron silang representative dito sa assembly. Number two, isang naging problema ng ARM ay yung kakulangan ng resources. Alam natin maraming resources nawala dahil sa korupsyon, dahil sa kawalan ng accountability. Pero sinisikap natin na itong mangyayari dito ay nandun yung accountability. Pero bukod doon, dadagdagan natin ang resources na available. Ang mangyayari dito, hindi na sila kailangan makipag-usap sa Kongreso taon-taon para magkaroon sila ng budget, kamukha ng ginagawa dito sa annual budget hearings natin. They will have an automatic appropriation, similar to the internal revenue allotment na ine-enjoy ng ating local governments. So tawag natin dyan ay yung annual block grants that will be automatically released to them at sila mismo, yung kanilang assembly, ang magplaplano kung paano nila igagastusin ito. Dapat ay meron silang budget plan, meron silang development plan, at yan dapat ay mababantayan ng tao para matiyak na magagamit ng maayos itong resources na ibibigay sa kanila. So, yun lamang yung mga bagong hugis. Major yan kasi patungkol yan sa political democracy na inaasahan natin mangyari. Alam natin napakadaming iba't ibang grupo at dapat ay represented yan lahat sa assembly. At patungkol din yan sa fiscal autonomy. Kasi di ba maski na sinasabi mo autonomous ka sa meron ka mga kapangyarihan, wala ka namang pera para isagawa yung mga programang gusto mong mangyari, para ka rin naman nakatali ang kamay mo at nakaluhod ka pa rin sa national government for your resources. So nangyayari yung patronage, nangyayari yung mga unholy alliances between the central government and the regional government. Sisikapin natin na maiwasan nyo na talagang makatindig sila sa sarili nilang mga paa.
Wala naman pong conflict yun kasi Republican state po tayo tapos sila parang parliamentary.
Malinaw po yun. Marami nang nagsalitang constitutional experts. Si Father Joaquin Bernas, kausap pa lang namin nung Friday. Ang sabi niya, at ito na rin naman yung sinasabi namin ever since, ang nakalagay sa Constitution under Article 10, Section on Local Governments, the autonomous region the structure of government shall be defined by law. So ito na yung law na ginagawa natin na sinasabi ganito yung structure of government. Ang nakalagay din sa Constitution, the executive and legislative branch shall be elected. Elected naman po yan. Elected yung members ng assembly at elect din naman nila sa among themselves kung sino yung magiging chief minister nila. So nothing there violates the Constitution. Annual block grant, parang IRA. So in a way, meron silang grant, isang bloke, pero yung assembly ang dapat mag-define kung paano nila isasagawa, saan nila ilalagay ang pera na yan. Bukod dun sa, of course, usual personnel services, operating expenses, at iba pa. Pwedeng tingnan ng COA, kasi COA ang may responsibility to ensure that all government funds are properly spent. That's the constitutional mandate of the COA. So yung National Commission on Audit will still have jurisdiction over the auditing of these government funds. Nobody is exempted from the COA audit, basta pera ng gobyerno ang pinag-uusapan.
Okay. You have more questions from the floor? Yes, please.
Very Garcia po ng Doctors Association of the Philippines. This question is addressed to Professor Ferrer. Ma'am, question ko lang po, despite your peace process, bakit po may nagkakagera pa sa Mindanao? May naiwanan po ba kayo dapat kausapin? Please, paliwanag po.
Ito po yung talagang na tanong, sinabi natin, no? Ganito po ang magandang sagot ni Chairman Iqbal dyan. Meron talagang ibang tao, maski pagsabihan mo, hindi makikinig sa'yo. So, sabi niya, sige, ayaan mo muna silang mahirapan, baka pag nahirapan sila, makikinig na sila sa'yo. So, sabi nila, magtatayo kami ng Islamic State, sumama kayo sa amin. Tingnan natin kung sasama yung mga tao doon. Gusto namin humiwalay sa Pilipinas, tingnan natin kung sasama yung mga tao doon na hindi sila kailangang gumamit ng dahas para suportahan sila ng tao. Kasi ang tao naman ngayon, ayaw na yan eh. Ayaw na ng kaguluhan. Gusto na magkaisa-isa tayo. So kung walang makikinig sa kanila, hindi na rin naman sila magpo-progress. Pero hindi naman po pwede na wala na tayong gagawin. Ito nga, nagtatanim sila ng kung ano-anong IED. Yung may mga kasama kayo sa media na tinamaan din itong huling IED explosion nila. Nag-sniping po sila sa ating mga sundalo. Hindi naman po pwedeng pabayaan na lang silang maghasik ng kaguluhan sa ating mga communities na wala tayong gagawin.
Hindi po kaya maging another threat po yan sa inyong peace process?
Kaya po, sinisikap natin ngayon pa lang eh. Punto po, antayin pa po natin yun. Antayin po muna natin na maging major threat sila. Kaya nga, ngayon pa lang ay inaano na natin.
Alright. Yes, please. Please identify yourself and the media entity you represent.
Popo Villanueva, DWFS. Yung karaniwang IRA, 40%. Hindi yata 75%.
Hindi po. Iba po yung binabanggit yung 75. Ang IRA po na nakukuha ng local governments ay 40% from national revenues na hinahati sa kanila. So, ito po, sa basic law, kailangan nilang sabihin ko ano yung formula. Hindi po 75. Ang 75 po ay patungkol sa ibang usapin.
Yung lawak ng bagong itong Bangsamoro na tatatay, pwede ba isama yung dating bumubo, yung tinatakda dati ng Tripod Agreement ng 13 provinces and respective cities?
Lumampas na po tayo dyan. 2 beses na nagplebisito dito sa 13 provinces na yan at narinig na po natin ang taong bayan at pumayag naman ng MILF na hindi lahat. Ang kasama lang po, nabigyan na po sila ng pagkakataon. 2 beses na tayo nagplebisito. Narinig natin ang Davao, narinig natin ang South Cotabato, narinig natin ang Zamboanga, Palawan. Ang sabi nila ay, ayaw talaga namin sumama. Pero hindi naman nila tinututulan na yung iba ay maging kabahagi niyan.
Yung MOA, AD, na panahon ni Gloria, sinaksihan mo ng ambassador ng US. Dito, wala eh. Wala rin si Sato Campo. Sa nakaraan, ando si Sato Campo na kumakatawag sa...
Hindi po, wala sila doon. Pero magkakaroon pa tayo ng signing ceremony eh. Meron pa tayong signing ceremony for the comprehensive agreement at ang international community will be there. Wala po, wala ito.
Let me just ask you, Professor, how different is this agreement with that of the MOA AD, which was supposed to have been witnessed, yung signing, by the U.S. Ambassador at the time, Christy Kenny?
Unang-una, yung geographic scope for the Bangsamoro, malaking difference. And this is the big compromise that on the part of our brothers in the MILF. They listened to the voices of the people in Iligan City, Zamboanga City, and other areas. Pumayag po sila ng ating plebisito ay mangyayari lamang sa kasalukuyang probinsya ng ARM. May 6 na munisipyo sa Lanao del Norte na noong 2001 ay gustong makasali pero ang buong Lanao del Norte ay nag-no kung kaya't hindi sila naisali. Ngayon bibigyan natin sila ng pagkakataon na maging kabahagi nito. Ganon din yung 39 barangays sa North Cotabato at saka Iligan, Isabela City, hindi po Iligan, Isabela City nakabahagi ng Basilan, nakabahagi na ng ARM, at saka yung Cotabato City kung saan yung opisina ng ARM ngayon. Sila po ang mga lugar na tinukoy natin. Malaki po yung pagkakaiba niyan sa MOA AD na scale down. But we have gone beyond MOA AD kasi ang MOA AD wala pong usapin ng normalization, walang usapin ng power sharing, walang usapin ng, may konting usapin lamang kaugnay ng wealth sharing. We've gone beyond MOA AD. We have leapfrog it. We now have the complete annexes with the governance structure clearly defined at saka yung powers already set out.
Yes, from TV Maria. Please identify yourself.
Mas marami po tayong nakukuhang resolutions o statement of support sa ibang grupo, mga local governments, mga senators, mga congressmen. Siyempre, ang natututukan lang ng media, yung mga kumukontra. Pero kung tutuusin po, kompleto po yung ating mga, sa lahat ng sektor, civil society, lahat po yan, international community. First, nakakapirma pa lamang namin, naglabasan na yung iba't ibang governments. Switzerland, UK, Japan, Australia, even the United Nations already expressed its support for this process. Pero yung nakakapture kasi yung mga salita dito, salita dyan, na kumukontra. Kasi yun yung balita.
Last po, if would you rate po ninyo yung mga cooperation na binibigay po ng bawat grupo from 0 to 100 na? Ngayon po, anong rate na?
Definitely po majority. Majority po ay sumusuporta dito. Kung meron mga concerns, hindi ibig sabihin hindi sila sumusuporta. Ibig lang sabihin, meron silang gustong concerns na mapangalagaan at nakikinig po tayo sa kanila.
More questions? Yes, please.
Tapos sa tanong kong kanya doon sa representations, pwede ba yung MNLF at BIFF magkaroon ng representative sa Bangsamoro Government?
Yun po ang gusto natin sa kanila, pero hindi naman po yata na asahan na ibibigay lang sa kanila yan. Trabaho din po nila yan. Our call to them, put up your political parties, show how different you are, prove that your program is better than the program that is being offered by the MILF, by the other politicians, mga traditional politicians. Kaya nga ang maganda dito sa ating sistemang itatayo, kailangan silang magtayo ng political party. Hindi pwedeng personality lang, hindi pwedeng grupo, armadong grupo na nagde-demand sa labas ng proseso. Kailangan pumalob sa proseso, makipag-compete, magpalakas, ipakita nyo yung suporta ng tao sa inyo. Hindi yung sasabihin nyo, kayo yung nagre-represent sa tao, tapos wala naman palang boboto sa inyo. So yun po ang challenge natin. You form your political parties, you compete fair and square with each other. Tapos yung tao yung husga, kung sinong tingin nilang dapat na liderato nila.
Yung sa party list ko, same ba ang qualification yun sa national?
Ayusin pa yan doon sa batas eh. Alam natin, medyo komplikado yung party list system natin sa Kongreso, so sana hindi naman pumasok sa ganong klaseng formula. Baka mas magandang formula ang ilabas nila.
Yes, please. Identify yourself and the entity you represent.
I am a concerned citizen.
Sige, please go ahead.
I'd like to share that I support the peace chance idea.
Please go ahead with the question.
Actually, it was mentioned that problem is just like cancer. You know, in medicine today.
Yes, what is the question? We're pressed for time. I'm sorry.
Well, I'd like to share something.
No, go ahead with the question. We will only entertain questions, please.
I don't have a question.
Okay.
I'd like to share an idea, but if you don't want to listen, we don't.
No, it's not that we don't want to listen.
Let's not be it. Okay now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Go ahead with the question.
Ma'am.
Go ahead.
Itong mga miyembro ng Central Committee ng MIL, puro matatanda na eh. Level 6 at level 7. At mag-isip ba, ganun din. At maging yung spokesman ng BIFF, napakatanda na si Abon Niso. Hindi kaya napilitan ng halimbawa, MIL, na pumasok dito sa kasunduan ito dahil kamamatayan na nila ito. Pwede ako na nga sa kanila, siya salamat eh.
Hindi po itanong.
Yung edad.
Alam niyo po, hindi naman basta-basta nakuha yung lahat, napagkasunduan, lahat ng napagkasunduan. Marami pong naging proseso yan, na matinding pag-uusap. Kasi hindi rin naman nila basta-basta bibitawan yung pinaglalaban nila, pero handa nga silang subukan yung mapayapang paraan para makamit yan. Siyempre, may factor din po siguro yun. Pero sila'y nakakaalam eh. Dumaan na sila sa gera, alam nila yung naging paghihirap ng mismong kapwa Muslim nila. At ayaw naman nila na magpatuloy pa yung paghihirap. So yung pong katandaan, hindi po yan negatibong factor. Dalan-dala na rin po dyan yung wisdom. Andiyan na rin po siguro yung sinasabing mahalaga, compassion. Compassion para sa kanilang kapwa Bangsamoro, na sana naman masubukan natin itong pagkakataon na to, mabigyan ito ng chance at hindi na dumanas yung mga younger generation nung dinanas nila nung sila ang nasa kabataan nila.
Sa LDF, kayo dito ba?
Hindi po, ibang lamesa po yun.
Sa February, 74 years old. Puro matatanda na yun nato sa...
Pero bata yung kaharap kaya okay.
Si Alex Padilla po ang chairman.
Ligoy, do you have a question? Wala? Okay. Well, we'd like to end our forum today by asking our imam and our representative from the Focolare and the Venerable Yulin Shi to individually lead us in prayer for peace before we end the show. So may I request everyone to please rise. Let's start with our representative from the Focolare. Please say prayers for peace, not only in the Philippines, but in the whole world.
Eternal Father, we ask you to bless each one of us to have a pure heart so that we shall see you, God, to be our guide for achieving peace and harmony in our country and for the whole world.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. God, you are the merciful. Have mercy on us, for your mercy is perfect. Forgive us, O Lord, for your forgiveness brings abundance and protection to all. Protect us with your perfect protection that leaves none unprotected. Guide us with your guidance that leaves none unguided. O Lord, bestow upon us the understanding to choose that which is right, the courage to abstain from which is wrong, and the wisdom and guidance to lead us teach to a prosperous future. Lord, bless us with the tool of righteousness. Unite us with the tool of collectivity to see not only the interest of the individual constituent of the communities, but most importantly, the wisdom to guide our nation collectively. Ours is a nation of diversity. We are indeed a microcosm of all the culture of the world. Lord, guide us, our nation, and our leaders, day and night, through sickness and health, happiness and sadness, so that we can easily understand the problems facing our nation. Give us a perfect solution for the betterment of saving the humanity. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Our Lord, grant us the good in this world, as well as good in the hereafter, and protect us from the torment of the fire. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله.
To have love and peace, we would like to learn more from our Kuan Yin Pusa, which is, we call it in Sanskrit, our Lokeswara Bodhisattva. And she represents compassion, truth, benevolence, and beauty. Now I would like to chant her name 3 times in Chinese. Da bei guan shi yin pu sa ai na mo guan shi yin pu sa na mo ta bei guan May Buddha, Lord, our Allah, bless all of you with happiness and peace. Amin.
With that, we bring to a close this special presentation in peace, unity, and harmony. Thank you very much. See you again next Monday. Thank you very much. Magandang araw po.
Thank you.